back, baby. We have bangs. I feel like they look crooked today, but I think it's the way that they're bouncing. So I don't know. We're just gonna keep moving forward. I'm Sammy, and this is the Sammy's Hobbies podcast. I was really excited to record today. I feel like it's been a minute, but I think I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera, and I feel like I've got a lot to share with you. I can't believe it's like already November, you know? We're just trucking along over here. I feel like I've got a lot to talk about today, so we can just get into it. First thing is, I have a finished object, everybody. I finished my Harley Vest test knit, which the test was due actually the day I'm hoping to put out this video. And so what I'm wearing, and also my finished object, this is my only finished object, is my Harley Vest test knit sweater. It's a 1x1 cable pattern. I'll put a picture of me, so you can see the full thing and details of the pattern. Sorry if I keep looking down here. I'm checking my monitor, which I'm trying to be better about not doing. Scatterbrain today. Well, let's see. Where was I? First, it's my first ever test knit. The pattern is by Limun Crafted, Rita, Dowd. And it was my first vest. I did the October vest make-along using this pattern. I did my first cable pattern, finished object cable pattern. We'll talk more about that later. First cable pattern, it's like a 1x1 zigzag. I feel like it gives like the cutest, scrunchy, textured, squishy look. The button band is twisted rib. It was my first button band, first time doing twisted rib. The bottom and around the neckline, can I show you, has an applied I-cord. Wait, is applied I-cord just when you bind off with it? Because I picked up stitches around the neckline to bind off in I-cord. Anyway, I feel like, for the button band and the bind off, Rita's explanations were amazing. As a newbie, I felt like I could read it and know what I was doing. And I feel like the trimmings to me are the chef's kiss of this pattern, because I just feel like they really seal the deal and make it look so sharp. One cool thing about this pattern, you'll be able to see in my photo, is that it has decreases at the bottom. So the button band is down, and then there's not a V shape because it's upside down, an A shape opening, which I don't know, I'm on the curvier side of things, and I was like, I hope it doesn't look like I'm busting out of this vest, but it really doesn't. I think it's really cute. I like to leave the top couple buttons unbuttoned and kind of get a symmetrical shape with the vest, and I love wearing it with this button-down collared shirt that I recently got. And I love the color. This is the Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in Soft Cognac, which I think Rita held her Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino with a strand of something else, giving it more like a Aran weight. But I knit it with a worsted weight yarn. And one really, really cool thing about this pattern is that you can swatch and measure your gauge, and she'll give you instructions, or she gave instructions in the pattern for how to modify the size you make based on your gauge. So that was pretty cool. I think there was a tester who knit up the pattern in DK. But yeah, I feel like it's so cute. I feel like I'm in a dark academia world. Just give me a tobacco pipe and put me in a study. That's the vibe, I feel like. It also kind of gives, especially based off where I took my photos in the garden, Hobbit, the Shire vibes. I've gotten that feedback, which is also super fun. I struggled a little with the pattern just because so many things were new to me, and I didn't quite know what I was doing with the right leaning cables. And then Rita shared a video in our test knit, and I was like, oh, I did the whole back yoke wrong. So I frogged it and restarted. But I don't know. I'm the kind of person who's like, when it comes to something like that, I would rather enjoy the finished object. Like, I'm like, I'll do the work again, but my finished object is going to be beautiful. Some mistakes I will go back and fix, and some I'm like, will anybody notice? Will it bother me if I know it's there and nobody notices? That's like a big one. So we kind of like joke, my friends that I taught how to knit last year, there's like a sliding scale of like who moves forward and who goes back and fixes their mistakes. And I'm like the second farthest one that will fix my mistakes. What else about this pattern? I felt like the back yoke obviously took me forever because I did it twice. And then these parts, the shoulders, they were so quick. And then it went from immediately like going through boom, 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 like so fast to I was on the body. And this, it just felt like the body rows took forever. And I was like, oh no, body island. But I cropped my vest slightly because that's just more of a preference. And I knew I wanted to wear like a longer shirt underneath it. And so I was like, yeah, get me done with this body. And then did my decreases. I don't know. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I feel like the length is my preference. It felt really fun to like kind of go in and like figure some stuff out because it's a test knit, right? So we're kind of like looking for things in the pattern, and I would definitely knit one of Rita's patterns again. And there's she has a sweater being test knit right now. I think it's the sweater version of her woody vest, and it is so cute. And I was like, oh, I have a lot to like get through, but I really want to knit that sweater. I'll probably just have to wait. I think that one comes out in January. Like, I think her pattern will be released in January. It's so cute. It's like a V-neck textured pullover. And what else how many times can I say the word sweater? I have some yarn in stash for a sweater that I was kind of like debating what I was going to make with it. And it's not the right gauge. So I was like, oh, don't sign up for the test knit. Like, you've already got a lot of things that you're committed to right now. So, that being said, before I get into whips, I wanted to just say, I should have said this at the beginning. I figured out how to actually put links in my description after the last podcast. So in my other videos, now there should be clickable links in the description. I list everything below as far as what I'm talking to you guys about. I also have my Instagram and Ravelry in there. Oh my gosh, please add me on Ravelry because I feel like one of my favorite pastimes is looking at people's Ravelry bundles, and I like to take time to curate mine. Of course, saying that, they're probably a bit of a mess at the moment, but I love, this is like so creepy. I really like to like find or like add people on Ravelry, and like I comb through their bundles, and I'm like, what kind of patterns do they have saved? And what are they into making right now? What's catching their eye? So please add me if you don't mind. I would love to see what you have saved. I would love to be mutuals with you anywhere that you would have me. So any platform that you would have me. Also, like, I forget to say this in my videos, and I feel like it's kind of it feels weird to ask for, but I'm like, it's not weird to ask for. If you want to subscribe, like, I would love that. It makes me feel great. If you like or comment, that also helps me out. And yeah, sorry, I feel so awkward asking that, but everyone does it. But I've really enjoyed having this channel and engaging with people in the comments, and I don't know, I just want it to be good vibes over here, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know, shameless plug. I feel awkward. I feel like, you know how us millennials really overuse the term awkward in the early aughts? Like, I just feel like it's appropriate for me still. Maybe that's my cross to bear, honestly. I'm working through it. I feel like I love being social, and then I like get really shy, and then I'll like meet my online friends, and then I'm like at knitting events and stuff, and then I'm like, oh my God, why am I so weird? But I think I just like internalize it, and then I go like stoic. I'm Scandinavian, and my family are stoic people. And so then I think it can be hard to read, but internally I'm like, I'm just happy to be here. So I'm just happy to be here, and like, I want to be your friend. A little about me. Moving on. No, I have another finished object. Okay. So they're looking a little wild right now. I finished my husband's Doble Tøfler slipper socks, which I don't think I had finished in my last episode. And we had felted them, and we realized with both my pair and my husband's pair, we had felted them the first round. Mine had kind of stretched out in the time that I was wearing them before I finished his. And so when we finished his, I threw mine back in the wash with his, got mine really tight to the foot, and they've stretched out. Sorry, there's traffic again. And yeah, I got mine felted again pretty tight to the foot, and then they've loosened up a little bit more again since that point. So my husband, we were not going to sew on the suede soles that I bought until we refelted his, and we just did that. They look a little bit of a mess right now. Like, I need to go through with my clothes doctor and get some of the fuzzies off from like the towel and everything, but these are his, and they look kind of wild, and they're still damp, so I need to put the fan on these, and then I'll go over them with my clothes doctor and pull off just some of these bits of fuzz. I did buy suede soles and sew them onto the bottom of mine. I feel like they pick up everything as far as dirt goes, and I've worn them outside like once, but I'll cover the bottom because that one looks ugly, and I was trying to wipe it off before recording this, but the towel was still damp, and so I'll just show you. This is the top, but yeah, I just feel like it picks up a lot of stuff, but I just sewed them on with like a pretty basic stitch. I can't remember the name. Yeah, so that's just an update on my slippers. One thing about finishing my test knit is that I was able to pull a couple whips out of hibernation. They didn't intentionally go into hibernation, but I was just like, I really want to have good test knit etiquette and like get this thing done and get my feedback in on time or early, because I would love to test knit for Rita again or other people. Just not at the moment, because I feel like I've got gift knit anxiety. That's one thing. I feel like I've overwhelmed myself slightly with some knitting obligations, but one being my test knit, and then I have some gift knits on the needles that I'll talk about, and it just feels like I've put a little too much pressure on myself. I was very excited about all these gift knits when I started. I just think like the combination of everything, I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this to myself again. So I don't really know that I'm going to be a big gift knitter, because I just want to it's my hobby and I want to enjoy it. And I'm trying to build like my wardrobe and curate my style with it. And gift knitting is fun. And I think it's like the practicality of having like multiple gift knits is just a little overwhelming to me. That turns me more into like a monogamous knitter, and I'm like, I gotta get this done. I like having multiple whips on the needles and having projects of different amounts of difficulty, but I also, gift knitting makes me be like, I just got to hone in on this one thing. I was like, gift knitting and then test knit. I was like, I got to hone in on this one thing and solely focus on it till it's done. And then I can feel better about having one thing off my list. Whereas like over the summer, I had like multiple projects on the needles and they were all selfishly for me, but it was just like low pressure because I was like, I can have this smaller, more basic, or like simpler project going on, or a larger or more complicated one, and like that can be my one for at home. This one's easy to take around with me. Whereas right now, I'm like, the deadlines are looming. I also thought I had until Christmas to finish a lot of these, and we changed our plans. We were going to go to Phoenix for Christmas. That's where my husband's family is. Now we're going for Thanksgiving instead, and that change happened after I decided to make all these things. I feel like I'm rambling, and I'm sorry about that. Hopefully in editing I can condense it down a bit. But anyway, that's my little spiel, and I feel like I am trying to wrap it all up in a tidy little bow to explain. But no, that's just like a little bit about my mindset on it. I guess without further ado, as a result of finishing my test knit, I was like, I'm going to treat myself and pull out a whip that's for me, that I've like, oh, we've been on an emotional roller coaster together. Rosenlund is back and she's better than ever. So this is the back increases and back yoke increases. And you'll see my like not so cute little lifeline in there. I think it's kind of ugly to show in like a podcast, but it is very helpful. I started this pullover too many times to count. Like I had to cut off some of the yarn I was using because I was like, it looks bad. And I was just struggling with the chart. Like in theory, I could understand it. And this is something that if you're an experienced knitter or you've done lace work or cables or whatever before, maybe you're like, duh, but no, I never heard anyone talk about this. So I'm going to talk about it. If you are wanting to make a pattern like this that has like chart repeats or it's just like very intricate and detailed, take your chart, and I can't show you mine because I don't want to show the pattern, but take your chart, break it down into sections. Like I have my cable work section here, and you'll see I have stitch markers on each side of it, and take a highlighter and highlight the lines where you're putting your stitch markers so that when you're working your chart, you can see, like if you mess up, you will notice so much faster and can tink back just like 10 stitches or 20 stitches or whatever it is and fix it rather than getting to like the next row or wherever, where you will notice your mistake and have to frog and try to figure out where the hell you made your mistake. So anyway, that's my little tidbit there. It's saved me. So like I was like almost crying to my husband. Like I was like, I think I need to put this project away. I am not good enough to make this sweater and I just want to be able to do it so bad. I understand the concept, but I can't execute it. And it was so frustrating. And then my sister-in-law was like, oh, put stitch markers in your chart repeats. And this one doesn't repeat. It's more like symmetrical. So I was like, oh, I can't do that, but I can break it down into sections. And so that I did. And it really has like just changed the whole experience for me. And this is so potato chippy. I can't put it down. I've done from my lifeline, which I did frog back to after picking it up after almost 2 months of not working on it. And I've knit my whole amount from the lifeline down to here in like 2 days because I'm just like, I can't stop. And I'm kind of slow at like lace work and cables. So this is a lot for me in 2 days. But yeah, I'm loving her, and I'm using the Knitting for Olive Merino in the color Dusty Olive, which is just this beautiful muted green. I'm holding it double, which when I ordered yarn for this project, I was still trying to figure out some stuff about yarn weights, because if you like Google knitting for Olive, or no, if you Google the weight of fingering weight held double, you'll probably get DK as an answer. Where then I was at a D-Stash bash and talking about yarn weights with someone, and I had just ordered my sweater quantity of this from the Knitting for Olive Gaza fundraiser. And I'm like, just chatting about it, and I'm sorry, I just had a little bit of a coughing fit. But I'm at this D-Stash bash and at Dandelion Fiber Company talking about yarn weights. And then I was corrected that fingering weight held double is actually closer to a worsted, but it's confusing. And I just felt like dumb. I was like, I was like, dang, I shouldn't be talking like I know what I'm talking about. So I kind of wish I got the fingering weight and the mohair, but I met Gage, and so I'm just going to keep going. Also, sorry, the lighting has changed. It looks very gloomy in here. I have no lights on. It's all just my windows to get the best lighting, so I apologize about that. I just am like, wow, it got really dark. So anyway, that's what I've learned in the process of making the sweater, but I'm loving it so much, and I cannot wait for the finished project. And it's supposed to be, the pattern is supposed to kind of like, it's like, it was inspired by a rose garden, and I love that. And I think that I love all the more having like a green yarn as that choice, because I'm like, well, roses aren't green, but the foliage is. I'll be the rose, and this will be the foliage around me. No, I'm just kidding. I know a lot of people talk about the Rosenlund, I think it's top or vest, but this sweater only has 20 projects on Ravelry, and that kind of blows my mind because I think it's beautiful. I also have heard with some Sari Nordlund patterns, like specifically the book club cardigan, to buy more yarn than specified in the pattern. Like, I think that's been a common thing, is people are like, oh, with Sari Nordlund patterns, or with this Sari Nordlund pattern, I was playing yarn chicken and I lost and I had to get like more yarn. So I tried to account for that in my order. We'll see. I also might do a different size for the sleeves than I'm doing for the body. I'm not 100% sure just yet. I think Sari only has people test knit part of the sweater, so it's not like the full garment. And I can understand that. I'm like, it's more efficient if you know that they can get through your charts and stuff, okay? But I do wish, I'm glad that I know to try to plan for more yarn than not for her patterns. I think that would be my one thing. I mean, I've never finished a Sari Nordlund pattern. It's just a common thing I've heard. So I'm like, oh, I feel like when you can trust a designer for the yarn quantity, it's very soothing for the anxious mind. I just can't stop looking at this one. I'm like, it's so cute. Anyway, it's also a drop shoulder construction, which I've never done before. I don't know, I've been talking about it for forever, but it's my favorite one. I don't know if you can tell. I've got stuff to get through now because I have to work soon, but I'll put my like more meh whip in the middle. That way I can end with like a good one. I've been making these hand knit. Let me show you. I've been making these hand knit golf club covers, and this one, oh, I haven't got a hair on it. This one is for, don't tell him. This one's for my brother-in-law. I'm making sets of 3. And so this one's for the driver. And these are the hand knit golf club covers by Marnie Reeser. I did see in some Ravelry notes that folks were like, oh, for the driver, add on 4 stitches. So I did that, and then I changed the decreases at the top because I didn't like them on the first one I did. So I have that one on the needles, I'll show you, but I frogged it back. I also am not good at vertical floats, and I was trying to do jogless stripes, and they don't, you can see a little bit there, I don't know, where I did like the jogless thing, but it's not my strong suit, so I'm working on it, but I think these will be really cute. I'm going to put pom-poms on the top. So this one is in the color Red Wine Heather, and the contrast color is Ecru, and then I actually have a few sets of these I'm trying to make before the holidays, so 2 before Thanksgiving, which is fine, because I think I can knit one of these up in like a day if I have a lot of time to knit, and I've got a couple weeks before I have to have them done and blocked and add the pom-poms. So vertical floats. Yeah, I am not good at them. I've only tried them on like one of these so far, and I frogged it because it didn't look good. So that's one area of improvement I'm trying to get to. If you've got recommendations about vertical floats, please tell me. Or a tutorial that you know of that's really good or clear or helpful. But yeah, I think they're kind of cute. The Ecru it's like this off-white, and I feel like it gives it, actually my husband was saying, it gives it like kind of a vintagey vibe, the color of off-white that it is. I'm not a golfer. I don't find golf interesting, but I think they're a good gift knit beyond just like a beanie or socks or something. Oh, I forgot to say, I said the colors. I'm making this in the Cascade 220 Superwash. Sorry, I feel like I'm all over the place today, and I'm trying to wrangle it in. This is going to be the one for the 3 iron, I think. It's going to have 3 stripes on it. So I think the odd numbers of the irons, I don't know. And then I'll make a 5-stripe one as well. So I had this one done, didn't like the decreases, didn't like my stripes, and so I frogged back. And yeah, I'm also, thank you, Anna, borrowing my sister-in-law's DPNs for this because I was doing magic loop, and I'm not a magic loop girl. I just feel like with knitting things, I feel like it's silly to be like, magic loop sucks for everyone. No one should do it. I'm just like, some people, it works for them, and that's great. And for me, it doesn't work, and that's okay. So anyway, you won't find me like, oh God, who would do magic loop ever? My final whip is also a whip I've taken out of hibernation. I don't think I've talked about it here. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it here. I don't know who's gonna watch these. If you're my mother-in-law, turn this off. But I don't think you're gonna watch this video. And if you know my mother-in-law, keep your mouth shut. That's aggressive. I'm sorry. If you know my mother-in-law, please kindly do not speak with her about this. I am making the Penn Shawl by Jen Peck, and this is a mosaic knitting project. Let me see if I can show you. So, wow, that's crispy. This is my first ever experience with mosaic knitting. I am knitting this up. My main color is Long Dog Fibers. This is a fingering weight shawl, by the way. Long Dog yarn. I think the color is Dream a Little Dream. My orange contrast color is Madeline Tosh Superwash, and it's the color Violin. And then this, sorry, my needle's right by the mic. This taupey, creamy, sandy color is Madeline Tosh Antique Lace, I believe. So yeah, I've got quite a ways to go on this one. But I think it's going to be really cute. And this turquoise color is my mother-in-law's favorite color. Her birthday is Christmas Day, and so I wanted to make this for her as a special birthday/Christmas gift. And she's also one that really, I think, would appreciate a hand knit gifted item. I've been taking a sheep to sweater class, and I will like text the group chat about it. The family group chat. They had sheep out at like my husband's grandparents. And so she was raised around sheep, and it's been kind of fun. And her mom was a weaver. And so her mom would card and spin and dye wool. And it's actually really cool. Maybe I can insert a photo, but we have a coffee cup that she made for my husband So it's his coffee cup, and it has one of his grandma's rugs printed onto it in the storm pattern. It's a Navajo pattern, and that's the one that she always did. So that's really cool. And it's been fun to talk with her about fiber arts and my learning process of washing and carding and not yet spinning, but soon to be spinning knowledge. I have one acquisition, and I actually bought it while I was knitting up this vest because I use wooden needles most of the time, and I prefer them. But something about the yarn cable wood needle combo was not feeling great to me. I just was like, oh, I feel like I'm going so slow. I don't like how grippy the yarn is to the needles with the stitch. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just get some metal needles. I also didn't want to spend a fortune on metal needles, but I knew for some projects like I might prefer them. So I made my first ever purchase from TikTok Shop, and I bought a set of interchangeable metal needles, and they were really affordable. So if I was teaching someone how to knit again, or if I was gifting knitting needles to someone who wants to learn how to knit, I would probably buy these because they were like $26 after all was said and done. These are like I don't know, I'm not like a rose gold girl, but I'm like, they're kind of a rose gold, mix of rose gold and copper color, depending on the lighting. I don't know that they're showing up that great here. I also am using one for my shawl because I was like, oh, this might feel better on metal needles too. And I do know metal needles can affect your gauge, but I honestly was like, whatever, I'm doing it. And much preferred to knit this vest on metal needles. It's not the cutest set in the world to me. It has these lime green cables, and I'm like, this combo is just not something I would have put together personally. So they're not the cutest, but they have been working pretty well. I feel like the join of the cable is pretty smooth in my opinion, and I do sometimes have to tighten them. I noticed it a lot on the vest because that was pretty intense needlework. I had to tighten my needles a couple times with my key. Yeah, I don't know. I really believe in like two things. Two things I value are sustainability and also accessibility. One thing that like irritates me to no end is like the closer you get to sustainability, the further away you get from accessibility a lot of times. TikTok Shop, I think, is like really, it can be sketchy, I think, because like the fast fashion aspect of it. And so I was like, ooh, is it like bad to buy from TikTok Shop at all? Like ever? And then, I just didn't know. So, but I was like, I'm just going to get these. They're really affordable, and I've been pretty happy with them. Yeah, that's my moral conundrum. I'm not trying to like go sell people items on TikTok Shop. That is all that I have about knitting. I'm going to talk a little bit about some media stuff, just things that I've been into lately. So if you are not interested in that, thank you so much for watching this far. Thanks for putting up with my chaotic energy this week. I just feel like I'm trying to wrangle all my thoughts and put them in a cohesive way. And then then I remember, I'm like, oh, I forgot to talk about this detail and whatever. So I'm working on getting better at that. And I will put everything in the description. And that's why I put things here to say like, oh, I forgot to say who this designer is or whatever. Then you can find that information as well. Media. Oh, for October, I've been watching Vampire Diaries again. Every October, I watch like a season or so of the show, and because I've never seen I've never seen the show the full way through. Which I'm a Damon girl. If if you're wondering. I have one episode left of season 7, and then I have season 8 left. So we're getting very close to the end. I started watching Vampire Diaries like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and I've watched like a little bit every year. And I think I'm going to finish it off, which I am excited and sad about. Also, my friend / downstairs neighbor, we knit together some nights, like once or twice a week, and we have been rewatching One Tree Hill while we knit together, which is like so fun. I've seen One Tree Hill too many times, probably. It's a good comfort show for me. And she hasn't like rewatched it since it was airing, or did she watch it after it aired? I can't remember. So she's like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Is this gonna happen? I'm like, do you want me to tell you? But it's fun because it's kind of like, I know the show so well that I miss like a couple seconds of it because we're chatting or something. Like I'm not like too torn up about it, and it's just been fun to like watch it together, and then we like sing the theme song obnoxiously. Books wise, I'm still finishing my buddy read of the second Crescent City book. I've been reading it with my friend for the majority of the year. Honestly, I've been slow. I've been so slow. I've had a harder time with this book than the first one. The first one I like ate up. I've just also had like a reading slump-y year in general, but this is coming out in November. So for the girls who get it, Brimstone comes out this month, and I have the special edition pre-order coming my way. I am going to re-listen. I read physically the first time. I read Quicksilver, and I'm going to re-listen to it. I think I have the dramatized audio version of it. Either way, I have an audiobook. So that way I can just like knit on my gift knits and listen to Quicksilver. I cannot wait for Brimstone. I hope my book gets here before I leave for Phoenix, because that'd be the perfect thing. I know spooky season is quote unquote over, but I am not really ready to let it go yet. I feel like I've just been like busy the last couple of months, and so I don't feel like I really got to get into it. But sometimes after Halloween, when things like quiet down a little bit, I can like just sit back and enjoy a little bit of more spookiness on my own. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you being here with me. I appreciate you dealing with the lighting shift. But I have had so much fun talking to you about my knits. And thank you for being patient with me while I try to like wrangle all this information together in my brain and tell it to you in a way that makes sense. I'm still newer to this, and I've kind of realized in my last couple episodes, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have like given this detail or like explained this thing. And so yeah, I'm just trying to get more comfortable with this and keep improving. Thank you for joining me. I would love it if you liked, commented, subscribed, all the things. And I hope that wherever you are and whenever you're watching this, that you are having the most beautiful day. All right, have a good one.